This conference will now be recorded.
Well, good morning, everyone. First of all, I want to welcome everybody to the weekly Nacogdoches Chamber Stakeholder Conference Call, or bi-weekly, I should say. I do want to let you folks know that we will not have a conference call until the first of January. So this will be the last one for the calendar year 2021. I want to remind everybody that this call is being recorded and will be posted on the Chamber's website at www.nacogdoches.org, and you can find it on the YouTube section. I also want to remind you that members of the media have been invited to participate, and we welcome them today to the call, and hopefully we will find some newsworthy information today. You can generally anticipate about two or three articles or news stories as a result of the call. I'm Wayne Mitchell. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm the President and CEO of the Nacogdoches County Chamber of Commerce, and I thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedules to join us here today. I'm pleased to introduce two people that I've had the honor and privilege of knowing. Both have past involvement either as a staff member or volunteer leader here at the Chamber. So they've had decades and decades, in spite of their youthful appearance, of involvement with the Chamber of Commerce. And so we're really pleased. I'll first introduce Charlotte Ashcraft, who's the Vice President and Marketing Director for Commercial Bank of Texas, a graduate of Stephen F. Austin State University, and she's worked in the marketing field for the Daily Sentinel and the Nacogdoches County Chamber of Commerce and Bancorp South. So she has extensive background in marketing. She's active in community affairs and serves on many boards, and is currently president of the SFA State University Alumni Association. She serves as community, she serves on several boards locally here. She's a graduate of Leadership Nacogdoches and serves as co-chair along with the fellow I'm going to introduce next, and that's the Honorable Paul Smith. Paul's with Principal Financial Group Insurance, and he's an extraordinary friend, past chairman of the board of the Chamber. In terms of community leadership, Paul has served in so many different capacities. It's almost it'd take too long in this presentation to describe them all. But having said, his reputation as a community leader here is unbelievable, and we're pleased to have Paul. I jokingly say one of my biggest challenges every year is to try to convince Paul and Charlotte that their continued leadership in co-chairing Leadership Nacogdoches is essential. And the good news for me is I'm 5 for 5. They've continued every year, so that's a really good thing for us. Paul is very passionate, as is Charlotte, proponent for Leadership Nacogdoches, and they're both well equipped to talk about the experience, our plans for 2022 leadership program, and how you can become involved if you've not yet had the privilege of being involved with it. And I do see that we have several people that are products of Leadership Nacogdoches on the call, and we would invite, once we get to questions and answers or comments, we would invite you to join in. So with that in mind, good morning, Charlotte. Good morning, Paul. It is your program.
Well, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm glad you all have taken the time to spend a few minutes with us and talk about Charlotte and my favorite subject for sure, Leadership Nacogdoches. And we began to think back and look back at some of the history and how long we've been involved, and we sort of felt like that might date us a little bit. And you could tell from maybe my gray hair anyway, that how many years that was. But my involvement is somewhere around the 30-year mark now, and I've just finished my 15th leadership class since we run them every other year. So that's been fun, and Charlotte and I have had the opportunity, as Wayne mentioned, to work together both when Charlotte was on the chamber staff a number of years ago in a position similar to Kelly Augustine's now, and then now we brought her back, and she's worked as a volunteer with me for 8 years as well. So lots of years and lots of fun. Biggest thing you have to think about is how many good friends we've made, the relationships we've had, and things we've learned too. I think Charlotte and I probably learn more from everybody in the class than they do from us, and that's goes without saying. But just a quick history. Let's spend just a few minutes for those of you who don't know it. Starting leadership goes clear back to 1982, as established as a program of our Chamber of Commerce, of course, and the late great Archie McDonald headed up the original curriculum committee. Classes were held for the first 3 years in a row, 82, 3, and 4, and then we decided to skip a year and go every other year from that point forward, because we wanted to have the experience of our class experience when the state legislature in Austin was in session. So then classes have been held every other year from 1986 on. Our classes average around 25, I'd say 25 to 30 in the last half dozen classes. Our total number of graduates, if you can believe, from 1982 forward is 538, and we're certainly proud of that. We'd like to provide timely, quality speakers and provide information to give a comprehensive overview of the entire county. We also like to provide hands-on opportunities for our students to learn and to explore their own leadership skills while networking with the other folks in the class. We seek both current and emerging leaders. You know, we've had presidents of banks, we've had city managers, we've had CEOs of the hospitals. We've had just about every combination of students you can imagine. We've had 2 different sets of married couples have gone through. We've had undergraduates at SFA. We've had retirees go through Leadership Nacogdoches. So really a pretty broad mix. Our curriculum calls for 9 full-day sessions once a month, and it begins in September and ends in May. So if anyone were to wonder, the Leadership Nacogdoches program would run just like the school year, from Labor Day till May. We begin things with an overnight retreat, and Tim Clipson has provided that training now for over 30 years himself, and will again our next time. And right in the middle of the class, one of the highlights, of course, is when we get to go to Austin, with the exception of our most recent class, because of COVID, didn't get to go. But we did move them into the Fredonia Hotel for 2 days, and we had a great experience there, and brought both Austin and Washington to Nacogdoches, and we all felt like they had a great experience there. Our program, but again, we intend to go back and spend 3 days and 2 nights in Austin while the legislature is in session, and that'll be in 23. April of 23 or so. So we'll look forward to that. And our program concludes with a graduation ceremony and so forth and so on in May. When we get down to tuition and costs, all expenses, including meals, transportation, lodging, are included in the tuition, which is right at $1,000. And that is all inclusive, a turnkey for the entire 9-month experience. Our applicants should be 21 years of age or older, and a resident of Nacogdoches, or work full-time in Nacogdoches. So we also have a growing and emerging alumni leadership program headed up by Sherry Morgan, class of 2019. And we're excited about that and the fruit that might bear. Lastly, I'm going to wrap up my part of the program with just to say that we're excited now to announce that our Leadership Nacogdoches program has become a part of the Nacogdoches County Chamber Foundation. And this is a big boost for us. And now it makes all contributions to our program and tuitions to our program under any circumstances tax deductible for those who want to sponsor a candidate or go through themselves. And we appreciate certainly recently the generous gift that we was recently received from Walmart for the leadership program, and we appreciate Kelly and Wayne's work on that. And those types of things we feel like might be more plentiful in the future thanks to our association and now being part of the Chamber Foundation. So anyway, we're we're very proud of all the folks that go through. Again, we talk about relationships. We talk about friendships you make. That's Charlotte and my reward, is the many people that go through and how we get to know these great folks, and the time we spend with them. And we're proud of those, and we want to highlight a few of those at this time and talk about some of the folks that have graduated Leadership Nacogdoches and what they've gone on to do in our county. So Charlotte, it's all yours.
Okay, I am happy to talk about some of the elected positions that have that some of our graduates have come into, and the ones that are serving currently. Jimmy Mice is the mayor of Nacogdoches. Travis Clardy, we all know him, state representative. Robin Dawley is the county commissioner. Ryan Head is on the hospital board, and Nancy Wyndham, who's on this call, is on the SFA Board of Regents. We're very proud of that. We also have some that have been in leadership positions that have moved on. Kim Cox, district judge. Jim Elder, county commissioner. Don Parton was on the city council. Bill Mahar is the past president of NISD school board. Al Marie Henderson also on the school board, and as well as G.W. Neal. These are the ones that are that we can remember that are in elected positions, but there are a dozen others that have gone on to successful careers, a lot of them in nonprofits. And how many graduates? 538. So 538 graduates are out there doing good things. And lastly, I'd like to say that as we talk about leadership graduates, we cannot miss, and it wouldn't be complete if we didn't miss Betty Shin. She was the class of 1984, and she has been very involved all along in leadership and everything else in town. So we're very proud of all these graduates, very proud of all of our graduates. But we just wanted to highlight some of the ones that have gone on to elected positions.
You know, over the years, we've had so much input from the community that's helped us with these classes. And our many thanks to the businesses and industry that have sent us candidates. It is a commitment. That's what we tell folks the first time we meet with them in August prior to our first session. When you look at 9 full month commitment, although it's only 1 day per month, usually on the third Thursday of each month, but still it is a big commitment, and we're certainly appreciative of those folks that send us candidates. Also, we feel like as our leadership students are the lifeblood of Leadership Nacogdoches, the backbone are our steering committee and the session chairs, the folks that put on these, invest the time and dozens of hours to prepare these sessions. And we've had so much help from so many folks from the city, the county, SFA, and all those types of days. But what I might do here is highlight just the, I've got my list here, the sessions, just to give you a quick run through. I think our time is still good, Wayne, is it not? Okay, well, as we mentioned, we start off with, I'm gonna take half of these, and I'm gonna let Charlotte take the other half. We start off with a retreat. Then our actually first session is what we call Nacogdoches Then and Now, and that's basically we go back into the history of Nacogdoches and bring it forward as to how we wound up with our economy and with SFA and certain things like that. Our next session would be community services. Over the years, been considered community services for people with disabilities. We have a chance to explore that on a wide range. We have a higher education session, which would be the NISD, and also obviously the outlying county schools, who we explore public education from that standpoint. And also city government and county government, where we get a chance to hear from the city manager, as well as the county commissioner, tour the county courthouse. We get to hear from the sheriff, tour the jail, and for a number of years we actually ate the same food out of the jail that the prisoners were eating that day. So I don't know what happened to that. Maybe they decided that wasn't such a, oh yeah, it really was you bet. Put a lot of us on a diet after that. But so we call that county government and legal systems. And so I'm going to turn it over to Charlotte for the rest of our 9 sessions.
On our 6th session, we go to Austin. It's State Government Day, and we typically we meet at the chamber, and everybody rides the bus to Austin. There's a lot of activities planned for us once we're there, but we have sessions at the state capitol every time, and we have several tours while we're there. We tour 6th Street typically every time we're there, and that's one of the highlights of the trip. You can add to this because this is a big session.
The Austin session, yeah, there is no rest for the weary. I'm telling you, we're going nonstop from about 7:30 in the morning till about till 5 p.m. at night, and have a chance to visit with our local state legislators and state representatives and senators, and tour their offices and get a chance to visit with them as well. And our classes, we go to Austin at the same time as Nacogdoches, SFA Nacogdoches Days in Austin. So our leadership group gets to be a part of. We're like a touring group that goes with our city officials, our county officials, the SFA officials, and so it's a huge representation from Nacogdoches. And we're always introduced on the floor of the state representative, Travis Clardy, or whoever's in office at the time. Travis introduces, and we always get a chance to enjoy that. So Austin's a great time, and a lot of people look forward to that.
Then when we get back, we follow that up with the healthcare system, and both hospitals participate in that. They take turns. Every year, one of them, we have lunch at one of the hospitals. And that's a great session. Then we have higher education at SFA. We typically, we have met in the boardroom before, but we typically meet, and then they provide a bus, and we take a tour of the campus. And in the recent years, we've had tours of some of the newer buildings, which has been nice. Then we have the leadership skills development session, which we typically bring Tim Clipson back, and he kind of sums up the year and challenges the class. That's on a Thursday, and then we actually do the leadership graduation the very next Friday, the next day for that. So and they help plan that, and it's that's always a fun event.
You bet. I see Ryan Head has joined the call this morning.
Yep.
A 2017 leadership graduate, and he's now, of course, part of the Memorial Hospital Board, and we're certainly fascinated to watch him and his progress and what he's doing for our community and the good things for the hospital district as well. Ryan, thank you.
And it looks like there's a lot of leadership grads on this call this morning. If you are one, raise your hand. Darla, yeah, there. Okay, we can't see everybody, but there's several on here, and we appreciate that.
Darla, I see Kim Westerhouse from our most recent class.
Dakota Marks.
Dakota Marks, you bet. And
Juan Gonzalez. There.
Juan, there he is. Sure. Mm-hmm. Glad you're with us. But yeah, we love our leadership folks. I think you folks would have to admit that by the time when we first meet with the group in August, but by the time we get back from the retreat in September, it's a completely different situation. That's where I sort of tease about saying the retreat is where everybody gets to know everybody pretty well. And in a short day and a half period of time, we spend the night at the retreat and have 2 full days, 1 full day of training of leadership skills development indoors with Tim Clipson, and then a ropes course outdoors the entire second day we're there. So it's a full and total experience, and it really kicks things off in the right way. And I know so many of you have memories of those too. So yeah. Who else is on the call here with us?
Paul, maybe somebody on the call might be interested in contributing something about their experience through Leadership Nacogdoches. Feel free to unmute your phone.
Sure. Ryan, how about you? Now, You've never been accused of being shy.
Yeah, I am not. You don't hear me? You don't hear me? No?
Barely. Can
Barely.
you turn it up?
Let's see.
Well, while Dr. Head gets his volume raised there.
Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, so I was a member of the class about, I guess not 2 sessions ago. It's valuable, especially being not from this area, having moved to the area, born in Nacogdoches, been raised.
Yeah, Ryan, we're having trouble with the audio.
Sorry.
We appreciate it, Ryan. We'll try to get you back in here at some other point. Anybody else?
I see
Yeah,
Sherry Morgan.
I lost my Tahoe in Austin during leadership. I think that was 6th Street.
I am probably in the minority because I did not want to enroll in Leadership NAC, and because of my position, I was strongly encouraged by my board, and I tried to sneaky sidestep my way out of it. And you just think that Charlotte Ashcraft is this sweet and nonchalant character, but no, she said, "Don't be silly. Of course you are." And so I did, and was kicking and screaming silently because I'm polite for the longest time. But I will tell you that despite all my efforts to the contrary, I came back from Austin a convert, and was able to adjust my attitude for the remainder of the sessions. And really, it was a changing point, not just in how I engaged with my new community, but it really did reinvigorate just personally my own leadership style. In how I lead, and it really helped me take my leadership to the next level. So I didn't start off the best pupil and the best student, and I'm thankful that Charlotte roughed me up and made me do it when I did it, because in hindsight, I can see where it was all meant to be.
Paul and
Hey.
Charlotte, are
Paul,
there scholarships available to assist people that may not have a company willing to sponsor them?
Yes, there are, and that's always something that's extremely important. We always have at least 1 or 2 people that would love to take Leadership Nacogdoches, but either in their current occupation or a current situation, it's not affordable. So we definitely do have 2 or 3 or 4 scholarships available, and intend to come up with a few more between now and then. So if you think about it, a scholarship to us represents at least 50% of the entire tuition. So if you know anybody, if you have any folks you'd like to nominate for the class or get involved, but there might be a financial issue, please stress to them that there is scholarship help and more on the way. We just don't want to have anybody who really would aspire to take the class and not be able to do so because of finances. So we're in pretty good shape with that right now, and it's getting better.
And a woman and man, or a man that is a potential candidate, there's no age restriction for this program, right?
Well, you should be age 21 or older. Now, when you get in, you don't necessarily have to act 21, but that would be help. Yeah, you need to be 21.
we would have all flunked.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul.
Yes, ma'am.
Paul, it is absolutely amazing at the camaraderie and the contacts you have. But when you go through leadership, in my situation, going through Leadership Nacogdoches and then leaving the area for other professions, they have leadership classes everywhere. And it's just a band of brothers. You have something in common, but you you're here, you have that knowledge that you can use wherever you are in any profession, in any walks of life. Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, it creates a different level of connectivity with other people that you don't have when you don't go through this type of training.
Thank you, Nancy. I think that makes a lot of sense, and that's certainly been our experience.
What about, what role does relationship building play in this program, Charlotte?
It plays a huge role. I mean, with my class, and I was the class of 91, I think. I mean, I'm still really great friends with those people, and we call on each other, and that's been a long time. I think it's a key part of the whole program. And you know, when they first get together, they sit in a boardroom and don't really talk. And you think, oh, is this one ever going to gel? And after the retreat, you know, they're lifelong friends. I think it's a huge part of it.
And don't ever underestimate the importance of the potential career move or career improvement, because throughout the 9 sessions, you're coming into contact with city officials, SFA officials, hospital officials. You're connecting with the powers that be, if you will, in Nacogdoches, and you have complete access to them. And I know many folks who have gotten career moves, career opportunities that have come from their Leadership Nacogdoches experience.
So when does the application period open for this program?
We're going to have the applications ready as we do every year in the middle of May. So that'll be the middle of May, this coming May of 2022. And it's an open enrollment period, and that'll run through the middle of July. So that's about how long it runs. This most recent class, every single person applied and filled out the application, and it was accepted online. So you know, as you all are probably familiar with, the www.nacogdoches. Give me the website again.
www.nacogdoches.org.
There you go. Right. And Kelly Augustine, again, accepted every single application online. That was the first time that had ever happened. We'd had a number of people apply online before, but because of COVID and some other things, but you certainly don't have to apply online if you don't want to. There are applications available at the 2516 North Street address there where the chamber office is.
Any other questions of Charlotte or Paul?
Wayne, I have one quick question. Can Paul or Charlotte, either one, just comment on where you think leadership is going with all the new changes that we have in the workspace, from, you know, a Zoom meeting like we're on today with our employees spread all over creation in their home offices. How will that be addressed in your future leadership classes?
You know, that's an interesting question, and that's yet to be answered. But it's a changing landscape, and we will change and adjust right along with it. You know, as we entered our last class, which would have been September of 20. You know, we didn't know if every single class might have even been on Zoom that way, you see, or on Teams or something like that. And we were prepared to move ahead in that vein. But as it turned out, and I think as Darla O'Neill and Dakota Marks and some of the others would tell you, Kim Westerhouse, the leadership experience was very similar to what had been done before. Our ropes course out at the retreat was completely outdoors and was able to proceed as usual. But we take pride in ourselves and with our session chairs of being cutting edge. We want to expose our students to the newest and the latest of what's going on in business and industry and nonprofit. And we're going to adjust right along with that. We realize so many more people are working from their homes, but we're going to bring them out of their homes for this 9-month experience, I can assure you. And but at the same time, it's become a way of life, whether you're working from your home or an office. And we'll adjust with the times. And we were very pleased to how it turned out this most recent class.
Well, Paul and Charlotte, I want to thank you for this presentation today and invite anybody on this call or monitoring the YouTube broadcast later to please feel free to contact the Chamber, Kelly Augustine, for more information, or Paul or Charlotte. And I want to thank you for your service to the Chamber and administering this program. It's very important to us, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate your efforts. Any closing comments, Charlotte, Paul?
Well, we want to thank all of you who are taking part this morning, and especially our graduates. We're certainly proud of them, and we look forward, and the plans are underway for the next class. Again, applications available in mid-May of 22 and through mid-July, and our next class will begin just after Labor Day of 2022.
Well, thank you very much, and we hope you'll stay engaged with us for the rest of this very important agenda. It's
Sure,
now my
sure will.
pleasure to introduce Dr. Shirley Luna, who's with the Marketing Communications Department for Stephen F. Austin State University, for an update. Good morning, Dr. Luna.
Thank you so much, Wayne. It's finals week here on campus, and so it's a little bit quiet, but we do have some exciting things going on. We'll be signing an articulation agreement with Tyler Junior College this week, and also signing an agreement with Hudson High School to make that high school part of our Distinguished High School program. So like Nacogdoches and Lufkin High School, students who graduate in the top 10% will be eligible for automatic scholarships of $5,000 a year. So that's cumulatively worth about a $20,000 scholarship for anyone in the top 10%, as well as scholarships for students who graduate from 11th to 25th in that percentile of their classes. They'll have automatic scholarships as well. So that's very exciting for that high school, and we're happy that they'll be joining us in that capacity. And then Saturday we'll have commencement, and again it'll be 3 ceremonies at 9 a.m., noon, and 3 p.m. So that'll be a great day here on campus, and our speaker will be Jerry Schleif, who is an alum and also a great friend to SFA. We have our School of Accountancies named for Mr. Schleif, as well as our tennis facility. So that's an update from campus. I'm happy to take any questions if anybody has one.
Any questions for Dr. Luna? Well, Shirley, thank you very much for that update. It's a busy season with graduation taking place this weekend and all these events. I think we found out that November, December, which used to be slow in this region, is certainly not the case anymore. And part of that is as a result of our next presenters. I'm pleased to welcome the 2 people that entertained us greatly this past weekend. And we'll hear part 2 of this in just a moment, but I can't tell you how impressed I was with the work of Gary Lee Ashcraft and Caroline Garner with the incredible Christmas parade this past weekend. Good morning, Gary Lee. Tell us about all things parade in Nacogdoches Area United Way.
I'm going to be really in big trouble with somebody, but I'm going to let Caroline lead off with the parade stuff. There you go.
Not in too much trouble. It was a surprise, but that's fine. I'm happy to talk about the parade because it was just such an amazing event. That's Mari Littleton and I sort of co-chaired it, but there were so many volunteers that pitched in. Charlotte and Gary, of course, were huge, just helping before and at the parade. And Aaron Gilcrease, who's been a parade volunteer with the lineup for 20 years, came out and worked it with us. Mari came up with a brilliant new system for getting the floats in a new way that made the check-in process that much more efficient. So it just made that much of a better time. The enthusiasm that was in the air, it started way before the parade with all the phone calls and the registrations, people just calling, so excited it was happening. Is it really happening? They could hardly believe after us having skipped it last year. So we had groups come out of the woodwork. Some were ones that had been with us before, and then some were brand new. We had the 18-wheeler trucks. Charlotte knows what their name is. I can't think right now. But anyway, that was brand new, and those were so impressive. And then the horses as usual. And a lot of the groups from NISD came out. We had SFA participation from the football team. They walked at the very front as our grand marshal. See what else. The dancing groups. We do have the winners now. Finally, it took us a bit to tabulate them, but I know those are being announced today. We've had a lot of interest in that. It's just wonderful to see so many people gathered on the brick streets. It was one of the largest crowds that I can remember us seeing since we took it over. United Way, FYI, took the parade over about 6 years ago. We started with the 2015 parade, and we've been doing it ever since. And of course, had to skip last year because of COVID. Boy, we missed it. We just love to do this for the community. It's fun to get in touch with so many different groups and just get in that holiday spirit. Our announcers at the main stage were Brad Mall and Travis Clardy. So, you know, it was a very boring time up there at the main stage, just very dull. But not really, no, they did an awesome job. They're wanting to come back and do it next year. And the judges actually, almost all of our judges were repeat judges, so they're well trained, and they always enjoy that part of the parade. And then our second stage was manned by Kevin from KSWP, and all of a sudden I can't think of his name. Anyway, so, and he had been with us before, so we had a lot of the same people coming back to pitch in, and Daniel Reed, who works for Wendy Buchanan, was there to do our sound system for us again. So it's fun to bring the team back together every year and be able to do this for the community. We live united. We love uniting people to give this Christmas parade to the community, and all the sponsors we had. We have enthusiastic support for it, so we're just grateful. It's a big community project for the benefit of the community, and just extremely joyful. So we're already excited about next year. I can say that now that I'm flipped.
I thank you, Caroline. I knew there'd be a little enthusiasm.
Just a little bit.
You or someone told me we had 70 floats, which is
it was around 70.
Parade. We took them in. Mari did. Mari is the key leader along with Caroline. We think we had 10 to 15,000 participants. I don't have an indicator of the economic impact, but there were a lot of happy people out there. Kudos to the Main Street crowd for the downtown festival. That just added the energy and the enthusiasm that we had. But for me, it was Mari's change, which I was kind of lost for a minute. It was the best execution of the parade that we've ever had. The kind of the backstories of things that have to get done are not worthwhile talking about, but there's a lot of things, a lot of walking, a lot of quick action, a lot of things. Like I lost the Lumberjack football team. They were walking. I didn't know where they were. And we finally caught up with them, which was really, really nice. Took a little bit of effort. Our Rex Perry car that we're giving away on Thursday, October 16th to some lucky campaign winner was for the first time in the parade, and Kenny Rena and her young boy Evan rode in the parade. It was fun to see the car moving down the streets, rocking the brick streets, and so forth. Campaign wraps up 12/13, Wayne. I'll just take an opportunity here, and if you all have not donated, please do. If you want an opportunity to win that car, 2021 Hyundai Accent, call me or Caroline, or go to our website and you can find out how to do that. So peace and love, Merry Christmas, and we enjoyed doing the parade, and thank you for the accolades that we've gotten. We appreciate you. Thanks, Wayne, for letting us butt into the agenda.
No, congratulations to both of you for that program. I thought, frankly, you guys would be sleeping this week trying to rehabilitate after that busy weekend. And speaking of folks that have put life into downtown, I'm pleased to introduce the executive director of Visit Nacogdoches, my good friend Sherry Cheney Morgan, and I also noticed that we have Joanna Temple on the call as well. So
that's right. Good morning, Wayne, and good morning, friends. October is the most recent accounting that we have for local hotel occupancy, and it was a very robust 51%, which was a 10% increase from October of last year, and officially puts us over the mark of full recovery from that pandemic pause in travel that we experienced. Anecdotal accounts from November and December to date make us optimistic about those numbers as well, but we'll get November numbers in a couple of more weeks here. And then December numbers we won't get until the middle of January. But like I said, we've already recovered the business that we lost, and we are going strong. A huge shout out and a thank you to Joanna Temple and Ashley Morgan and Mike Bay and Cheryl Bartlett, along with the other City of Nacogdoches employees that made this past weekend run so smoothly. 2021 has been a year of growth and learning curves for us here at Visit Nacogdoches, and I just couldn't be prouder of our team's response. We took on events this year, and it's been a struggle at times, but always so worth the energy and effort put into it. This year, we brought back the Nine Flags Festival, which was the prelude to the parade, and what we did was what Joanna did. It wasn't we, it was what Joanna and Ashley put together, was a synergy in downtown. We brought in vendors. There were 50 plus vendors down in the U Square around the visitor center. And when the participants got finished shopping at the vendors, they took the opportunity to go down and shop in our shops, and that's good for everybody. So, you know, always a reminder that these events come around once a year, and sometimes it causes a hiccup in our day-to-day occurrences. We disrupt traffic patterns and parking habits, but all disruptions are not bad. And sometimes you have to shake things up a little bit to get some new and different results. So I hope at the end of the day, we're going to do some surveys of our business owners and our citizens to see what our marks are, where we did really well, where we still have some room for improvement. And we're going to keep on going until we get it right. But again, if you see Joanna and Ashley and Mike, and Cheryl helped, you know, write the checks that I signed to pay for all of it. So really is a team effort, but certainly heading up our team is Joanna Temple and Ashley, and together they are just unstoppable. So kudos and thank you. Christmas trees are throughout our building here at the Charles Bright Visitor Center. We've got a garden capital tree, a Nacogdoches themed tree, a pet friendly tree, Nine Flags, Texas, and our friends at Farmers Bank sponsored a tree this year. So if you are needing to get in the holiday spirit and want to look at some differently themed trees, I encourage you to come drop by and see Mike and visit us here and look at everything. If you do it on Friday evening, you'll be able to catch Santa and Mrs. Claus on the backstage of the visitor center as well. And, you know, coin toss. We know the naughty list is going to have Paul Smith and Gary Lee Ashcraft, and the nice list will have Charlotte at the head of it. So we're looking forward to having them. We also have this really cool thing, and it was a Joanna Temple idea, an art installation on the back porch, back patio is what we call it. Picture yourself in Nacogdoches. We've enlarged 3 pieces of art from local artists that depict different scenes from our downtown, and they are scaled to perfectly serve as a photo backdrop. So I encourage you all to come down and take some selfies on our backstage and post those on your social media for us. Lastly, we are all but done. I think we just did Christmas last weekend. So we're turning our focus to January. And for us here at the Visitor Center, we're going to be transitioning our stable of volunteers to become official Visit Nacogdoches ambassadors. So we're going to open back up our recruitment for ambassadors. We'll accept applications, and we'll be offering a day-long training towards the end of the month, complete with lunch and a step-on guided bus tour around town, where they'll be educated on our tourism assets and given talking points on each to relay to our guests. And I mention this because not only is this an outstanding opportunity for individuals that are looking for ways to give back to our community, but also for businesses to take part in something called service marketing. Businesses can come in and cover volunteer shifts with employees wearing your branded or logoed shirts, and in turn we'll for those days that business is providing volunteers for us, our social media platforms, all with very impressive followings, will be highlighting your business for you. So the value proposition of that is really high. Ideally, ambassadors are needed on the weekends to keep the visitor center open, but as we expand, we're wanting to have ambassadors stationed at our historic sites as well, and that would be during the weekdays. So we're looking at 2 to 3 hour shifts, depending on what you're able to do. I encourage you all to get with your marketing departments and discuss the possibility of how you can leverage your marketing against our positive and established brand here at Visit Nacogdoches. So it's an honor and a privilege to get to represent Nacogdoches. And as always, I thank you for all that you do to help make Nacogdoches a great place to welcome people into in ways big and small. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you and your team, Sherry, for adding so much to this holiday season and keeping Nacogdoches alive and vibrant. We really appreciate that. Well done. And, I ran into Joanna preceding her marking the streets with Barbara Hall on Friday night, and I've done that job. It's not a job that I volunteered for. I was appointed to do it, so I know what you guys went through, but you did a great job, and all the feedback has been very positive. I'm pleased to welcome with us the President and CEO of the Texas Forest Country Partnership for a regional update, Nancy Wyndham. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Sorry I was late to the call, but I wanted to ask, did anybody mention that today is Pearl Harbor Day? If not, just for those of you that have parents that remember or grandparents that remember, this is a day my mom walked around in very deep, reverent memory for those, because she lived through it. And my dad hitchhiked with a buddy to Dallas to join the Navy. They knew that the Army was coming, so they hitchhiked to Dallas and hitched back after they had joined the Navy. The Army was waiting for them, and they said, no, we're in the Navy. So they were shipped off to Europe and was there as Seabees. But for all of those families and descendants and those that lost their lives during Pearl Harbor, it's just a very, it's a somber day for me, because I remember how my parents experienced that day through the years. So anyway, for those of you that go through the day, just say a little prayer for those servicemen and women that are out there every day, keeping us to where we can be on these calls and to serve others. Thank you. Sorry. Okay. I'll make it really quick. It's 10:48. One important thing that we received that we're going to be distributing today, I received it yesterday from the Office of the Governor, Economic Development and Tourism. It's called Travel Texas. And I know we encourage people to shop local, shop Nacogdoches, Nacogdoches County, encourage that. But if you're going to be giving something from a gift, think about Travel Texas. It is a campaign. They are offering up logos and stickers that you can put on different opportunities that you might have in your business or on your logo. So I've sent that to Kelly to share back out. Just take a look at it. I find it very interesting. Instead of all the money that we spend on businesses outside of the area or outside of Texas, just this gives you another option to do that and to promote what we have in our great state. And then secondly, and I see Karen Stubblefield is still on the phone, a great tool, not just a great tool, but one of the main partnerships that we have is the DP's Texas Workforce Solutions. Karen has provided an updated economic snapshot of the area, which talks about unemployment, average wages. Kelly was going to share that also. I would encourage those of you to take a look at that and kind of be more familiar with what our region is doing as far as labor and unemployment, and be more informed. That's part of the whole package of being a leader. And Karen shouts out to DP's Texas Workforce Solutions and the great job y'all are doing to keep education and workforce connected and taking care of others. That pretty much, I'm going to keep it at that short report. We have always, in the last month or two, seen a big uptick in projects, new projects for new jobs in our region, specifically looking for wood and forest product supply for what they're manufacturing. Also, we have some other opportunities that we're working and helping our 12 counties put forth their best foot and apply for these to bring new jobs, and always focusing on, I heard the other day, it's not business retention and expansion anymore. They're calling it BREW. It's business retention, expansion, and workforce. So with that, Merry Christmas to everybody. Keep in mind your partnerships, and we appreciate your time and your effort and the opportunity to be involved in these calls, and just love Nacogdoches and Nacogdoches County. So you guys all be safe and healthy.
Well, thank you, Nancy, and thank you for all the great work you do in coordinating so many regional activities and the great work you folks are doing. Anybody have anything to add that was not on the agenda? We've got a little bit of time here.
Hey, Wayne, one more thing. Another shopping I have on my shelf for those that will need to buy graduation presents. Don't forget Shirley Luna's the book about SFA. That would make a great graduation or Christmas gift for someone that's attending SFA or someone that's outside of Nacogdoches to learn more about us.
That's a great idea. We'll try to get that information for anybody who's interested in ordering it. Thank you. Well, thank all of you folks for tuning in here today. There are a few things on the horizon at the Chamber, not the least of which we have a ribbon cutting tonight at Well Body Solutions at 4:30. And then we have another one, ribbon cutting on Thursday night, which will be at 4:30, which is the Nacogdoches Federation of Women's Clubs. And that'll be at the old university building here in Nacogdoches. We do have Eggs and Issues, which will be on Thursday morning, the 9th, which will feature a presentation by Mike Baxter. The introduction will be provided by our own Sherry Cheney Morgan. Mike is the marketing director and tourism director for the city of Tomball, and has really interesting information, is very engaged on the national level with some of the national trends. So it's a great opportunity to join us at 7:30 a.m. for Eggs and Issues. I just checked the count. We're approaching over 40. I suspect we'll have between 50 and 60 folks there for Mike's presentation. And again, that's Eggs and Issues on this Thursday, December 9th. And then in the evening, after you finish the ribbon cutting on Thursday, the 9th, we're all going to go to Nac Space and have a great Alive After 5 program at 5:30 p.m. My understanding is that Mr. and Mrs. Santa is going to be there. And it's a great opportunity for people like Gary Lee and others to go there and to lobby Santa for gifts that you're probably not entitled to based on your behavior this past year. Just a wonderful opportunity. Sadly, I'll be there with you, Gary Lee. I've got a few things that I have to approach him on. So probably things we did together. So there you go. But all kidding aside, that's going to be a lot of fun. And if you've not seen that Nac Space facility, it's absolutely beautiful. It's a great opportunity to tour it. They're just wonderful people. And we get an opportunity to say hello to all of our friends at Elliott Electric. So again, 5:30 on Thursday. And with that, we will not have a conference call until early December. We wish all of you folks a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And stay safe. Thank you, folks.